Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with me.
And Mead
Today we're going to be,
diving into.
going deep on a conversation between two Japanese artists, um, Hideki and Mayumi.
And they have a great podcast too.
Yeah, it's called Aburi Shimasaba Radio,
Yeah,
which
that's the name.
it's so good it translates to grilled mackerel radio.
Catchy.
And in this episode, they're asking the big question, what can't AI do?
Yeah, which is something
Such a good question.
always on our minds.
Like, we're always talking about what AI can do, but what can it not do?
Right.
And they actually bring up another artist, Michiro Akihiro, who had some pretty interesting answers.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Land, time, and memories.
What do you think?
Yeah, and especially that land idea. I feel like we don't talk about that enough in these AI conversations.
Yeah, it's interesting how he brought that up.
It feels very fundamental.
Right, because land is finite, right?
Yeah.
And we live within these constraints of time and we create memories. It's all very connected.
Absolutely, and it's interesting how these artists are seeing these limitations as opportunities.
Yeah, they're not afraid of it.
Instead of worrying about what AI will replace, they're looking at what makes us human and how we can leverage those qualities.
And that's really smart, especially in a world where our population keeps growing and resources are becoming even scarcer.
Right, the value of land, especially land that can be used for creative and communal purposes, is only going to increase.
Exactly.
So they're really flipping the script here. Instead of fearing AI, they're saying, hey, here's what AI can't do, and here's how we can use that to our advantage.
And, use it to enhance what we already have.
So how does this tie into their own artistic visions?
Well, Mayumi really focuses on the idea that AI can't truly replicate genuine human experience,
Okay.
the kind that comes from active participation and embodiment.
Right, so she gives examples like singing and dancing.
Yeah, those things that require you to be present in your body and engaged with the world.
Like AI isn't hitting the dance floor anytime soon.
Well, not yet, anyway.
But it is making music.
True. And it's getting pretty good at choreographing dances, too.
It's true.
But Hideki takes this idea even further with his own list: travel, smell, taste, even, bodily functions and desires.
Oh, wow. He's really going for it.
He's not holding back.
I mean, okay, so maybe AI won't be replacing our need to, experience life anytime soon.
Hopefully not.
But could it ever really replicate the feeling of a warm breeze on your skin? Or the taste of your favorite meal?
It's a good question.
Like, virtual reality is getting pretty sophisticated,
Yeah.
but it's still a simulation.
It is, and I think that's the key difference.
Yeah.
It can create these really immersive experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same as actually being there, feeling the sun, or tasting the salt in the air at the beach.
Yeah, there's something about actually being in a place and experiencing it with all your senses,
Totally.
which brings us back to that land concept.
Right.
It seems like both Hideki and Mayumi see it as this powerful idea.
Absolutely. And they start brainstorming ways to actually leverage it. Mayumi talks about creating physical spaces for gatherings, for artistic expression, maybe even something like a festival.
Cool.
And she mentions Fuji Rock Festival and Airbnb as inspirations.
That's such a cool mix.
Right.
AI can't create a physical space or the community that thrives within it.
You really can.
They're recognizing the importance of the tangible in this increasingly digital world.
And the value in those real-world experiences that AI can only attempt to mimic.
And she's already putting some of these ideas into action.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a recent work trip, instead of everyone getting separate hotel rooms, they decided to just rent a house together.
Wow, that's a great idea.
It's like a mini version of what they're talking about.
That's awesome.
She also points out that there might be a lot of unused land out there, perhaps owned by older generations, that could be repurposed,
It's true, I bet there is.
that could be used for these kinds of ventures.
Yeah, what a brilliant observation.
Imagine the possibilities.
Revitalizing those underutilized spaces.
Creating new opportunities for connection and creative expression.
I mean, there are definitely logistical and financial challenges
For sure.
that come with managing these kinds of spaces.
But that's where the brainstorming gets really interesting.
Okay.
They imagine a collaborative space with rotating art managed by the community itself,
Okay.
easily bookable through existing platforms like Airbnb.
Like a fusion of Airbnb, a gallery, and a community center.
Yeah.
Wow.
And remember Nishiro, the artist who first brought up land?
Yeah.
He actually rents out his own uniquely designed home.
Oh, that's right.
So there's a proven model for this kind of thinking.
That's awesome.
This is what I love about these deep dives.
Me too.
It's so cool how they weave together personal experiences, broader trends, and creative problem solving
Yeah.
into a conversation about real-world possibility.
Right, actually making it happen.
It's a great reminder that AI's limitations can actually stark human ingenuity.
It's not about being afraid of technology, but about recognizing its potential and finding ways to use it to enhance our lives.
And in this case, it's about actively creating spaces and experiences that are uniquely human.
I love that.
So they've laid out the foundation for how to potentially leverage what AI can't do.
Right.
Now, how do they actually put these ideas into practice?
Good question.
We'll find out in part 2 of this deep dive.
Welcome back.
We're continuing our deep dive into Aburi Shimasaba Radio.
With Hideki and Mayumi.
Yeah, and they're really getting into how to create these unique spaces.
Spaces that AI just can't replicate.
And they actually start mapping out a potential business model.
They really do. It's impressive.
It felt like we were brainstorming with them.
I know. It's cool how they just go for it.
It's amazing how a conversation about AI's limitations can lead to such real-world ideas.
It's inspiring.
But then they start talking about encounters
Oh, yeah.
and how AI might not be able to create truly meaningful ones.
Which is a good point.
Yeah, Mayumi asks, how do we promote chance encounters?
She's really insightful.
She even jokes about hoping listeners just happen to find their podcast, like a little Aburi Shimasaba Radio serendipity.
I love that.
It's a great point, though.
It is.
She's highlighting the role of randomness,
Mm-hmm.
those unexpected moments that lead to connection.
Yeah, something AI might not be able to do.
With all its algorithms and predictability.
Right, like when you meet someone randomly and they become a lifelong friend.
Or you stumble upon an experience that changes your whole perspective.
AI can analyze data and suggest connections.
But it can't orchestrate those magical moments.
Exact.
Then Hideki suggests AI might be too structured for random movement,
Interesting.
like for embracing the unexpected.
Makes sense.
And Mayumi connects this to the Buddhist concept of enjiki.
Oh, wow.
It's all about interconnectedness.
Yeah.
The idea that everything arises from this web of causes and conditions.
I like that.
So how does this relate to AI's limitations?
Well, they're suggesting that AI operates within this closed system
Okay.
of data and logic.
Uh-huh.
It can process information super fast, but it doesn't fully grasp the nuances of lived experience.
Okay.
How one moment flows into the next,
Right.
and how those unexpected things shape us.
Yeah, like it doesn't experience time the way we do.
Exactly. It's stuck in this present moment
While we're constantly navigating the flow of time.
and encountering new people and new experiences.
Yeah, we're always changing
Evolving.
based on what happens to us.
Exactly. And those seemingly random encounters are huge.
Totally.
Mayumi even suggests things like consulting a fortune teller or trying something completely outside your routine.
Just to introduce more randomness.
Yeah.
To create more meaningful encounters.
Right, embrace the unpredictable.
Hideki adds that this might be why people are turning to spiritual practices.
That's interesting.
Like we're craving experiences that AI can't provide.
It's like as AI gets better at handling tasks and giving us information,
Yeah.
the things that make us human become even more valuable.
Like our emotions, our relationship.
That's in our sense of wonder and discovery.
So are they saying we should just ditch technology?
No, not at all.
Okay.
They're just saying be mindful about how we use it.
Yeah.
Recognize its limitations.
Right.
AI can be a powerful tool,
Mhm.
but it can't replace human creativity.
Or the richness of lived experience.
It's about finding that balance.
using AI's strengths.
Yes.
While also cultivating what makes us human.
It's such an important point.
They end with a message of hope.
Okay.
It's not about being afraid of AI.
Right.
It's about understanding its potential
Yeah.
and using it to enhance our lives,
In specific ways.
while consciously creating spaces and experiences that are uniquely human.
That's beautiful.
It sounds like they're about to share how they're actually putting this into practice.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear what they have to say. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive with Hideki and Mayumi.
They're really getting down to business now.
Yeah, like how do they actually make this happen?
Turn those ideas into reality.
And they start by sharing some examples of how it's already happening in their own lives.
Oh, cool.
Mayumi mentions a work event in Osaka,
Oh, okay.
and they've decided to run a house together instead of staying in separate hotel rooms.
Love that.
It just makes so much more sense.
It does.
Like, why pay for all those individual rooms
Right.
when you can have this communal experience?
So exactly.
And it's way more fun.
so much better.
It's like a mini version of what they're envisioning for those bigger art spaces.
They're already living it.
They really are.
And it's working.
And then this sparks even more ideas.
What else?
They start picturing a space with rotating art exhibits,
Okay.
managed by a whole community of artists.
I like it.
and easily bookable through something like Airbnb.
That makes it so accessible.
And they reference Nishiro.
Yeah, the artist who rents out his home.
Exactly.
He's onto something.
Like proof that people are looking for these unique experiences.
Yeah, they want something different.
More personal.
More authentic.
Than what you find in a typical hotel or gallery. But they also acknowledge the challenges.
Oh, right, like the logistics.
Yeah, of managing these spaces. Like you're going to need clear guidelines. Maybe a membership structure.
Yeah, to keep things running smoothly.
A system for handling upkeep and responsibilities.
It's a lot to figure out.
And then Mayumi brings up this really cool point.
What's that?
She suggests there might be an untapped resource in their communities.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Older generations who own land,
Oh, interesting.
but aren't using it.
That's a great idea.
So it's a win-win.
Right.
Revitalize those spaces.
Provide a platform for artists.
Connect across generations.
That's awesome.
I love how this conversation started with AI's limitations.
Me too.
And now they're actually making plans to create something real.
It's so inspiring.
It shows you that even in a world dominated by algorithms, it's the human element that really matters.
Our creativity, our connection, our ability to make things happen.
And that's something AI can't replicate.
You got that right.
So as you've been listening to this,
Yeah.
have any ideas been sparking for you?
Have you been thinking about spaces that are meaningful to you?
How could you create something extraordinary in your own life?
Using this community-driven approach,
In a world obsessed with the digital,
the tangible holds a special power.
embrace that power.
Tap into your creativity.
Don't be afraid to build something new.
We hope this deep dive has inspired you to do just that.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, keep diving deeper.